Welcome to Origami Snowman. I'm doing a 50 holes. I'm going to try to speed run it. My best time is like just a hair under 19 minutes. So I want to try to get a lot lower. So I'm focusing. But that's no fun. So I want to also talk about a weird text I just got from my wife. No context, no like preamble, just out of the blue. What game show would I win? That normally, if somebody came to me and said, "Hey, I got this weird text from my wife," I would say that is a trap. Run. But my wife, she doesn't do drama. That's not her thing. If she's mad at me, boy, howdy, I know it. I might not know why, but she doesn't she's not going to be all sweet and everything and then suddenly poison me, I hope. So, this isn't a trap kind of thing. I presume that they're having a conversation. She's a teacher. I presume they're having a conversation at school right now about, and no, this isn't a reference to like an earlier conversation we were having that I've forgotten about. The last text that we sent was about how expensive the battery for our backup sump pump is. So, nope, pretty sure it, wasn't like a, weird stream of consciousness kind of thing. I told her Family Feud because she's all about feuding with her family. No, I didn't say that part, but I do. I think my wife would be pretty good at Family Feud. She's sort of like got a good like grasp of like she reads the room well. You know what I mean? She's always the one to point out to me that you're talking too loud and way too much. And like at least half of the things you've said in the last 10 minutes have been pretty offensive. She's really good about knowing that sort of thing. I never, ever know. So, she's real good at reading the room. So I think Family Feud. What game show do you think you guys would win? What's like, do people even watch game shows? Now, I don't mean like The Voice. I know people watch that for some reason, but do people still, like, when I was a kid, you got sick and you stayed home from school and you did one of two things. You either watched Bob Ross on PBS and you ate chicken noodle soup, or you watched The Price is Right on Channel 15 and then switched over to watch Love Connection on Channel 55. If you went to college, I'm guessing you were a Bob Ross kid, and if you are a bus driver now like me, you're probably a Price is Right Love Connection kid. And usually you ended up eating leftover spaghetti out of an old butter container instead of eating, chicken noodle soup. So I'm not saying my mom didn't love me. I'm saying she sometimes forgot about me. That's all. It wasn't a neglect thing, not intentionally anyway. So game shows when I was a kid, we had the big one, of course, Price is Right, still a big one. And that was awesome. And the reason that I think The Price is Right was so popular was because it wasn't one game show. It was a bunch of like mini game shows all rolled up into one. Like they had tons of little mini games that you played. It wasn't just one thing. It wasn't like, listen, you're going to spin this wheel and you're going to guess the word and that is it. And if that does not fall into your skill set, you can just show yourself out right now. It wasn't like that. It was just sort of, hey, you might get lucky. And it wasn't anything but luck. It really wasn't. Nobody was like, yes, actually, I just spent the week pricing Rice-A-Roni, so I prepared for this specific game. Bring it on. I can do it. It wasn't like that. It was, you were just sort of like, I don't know how much an exercise bike costs. Is it more or less than, like, throw pillows? I don't know. And you had to just, figure it out. That was just The Price is Right. And then, of course, Wheel of Fortune, which, if you're a word nerd, great show. Jeopardy, if you're in any other kind of nerd, Jeopardy's your bag. One that I loved was Classic Concentration, and it didn't like it didn't last like into my teens. I don't think that was on TV forever. Alex Trebek hosted that when he wasn't hosting Jeopardy. So people were like, "Oh yeah, Alex Trebek from Jeopardy," and I would be like, "And from Classic Concentration," and they'd look at me like I was an idiot. I liked that one. It was pictograms, is what it was. You had to like figure out like it was just pictograms. They would have a series of pictures plus this letter minus that sound, and you had to figure out what they were trying to say. I loved those. My teachers would do that. Like if we had like a holiday party or whatever, they'd always, break out the pictograms or, figure out which Christmas carol this is. And I always loved those. For some reason, that's just the way my brain works. I'm talking real fast. Do you want to know why? Because my heart is pounding like a freaking drum, and I'll explain more about that in just one moment. The moment has arrived. So, as I mentioned earlier, we have a battery backup on our sump pump. What that means is your sump pump, I don't know if we're going to start at the bottom here, which is where your sump pump is. It's usually in your basement. So if you live in an older house or a newer house, really any house, you might have a sump pit in your basement or maybe in your garage. But what that does is if water seeps up into your basement, then it collects in the sump pit. And then the sump pump takes all that excess water and it runs it. Oh, look at that. That was beautiful. And it basically just pumps it away outside of your house. Sometimes it is pumped like way far away, like to the, like the back of your yard so it flows away. Sometimes it pumps it right back out into your yard where it was when it leaked into your basement. So, sometimes your sump pit will just be like running forever, Ours used to pump it right out into the yard where it didn't belong so that it soaked right back into our basement. But then we had a bunch of stuff done to our yard and now it pumps it away. So we're good. So every now and then what'll happen, I don't know if you've ever experienced this, it's called a power outage. That means your power dies. I'm mansplaining this on purpose, by the way, but it's not coming through. I understand that. So if your power goes out, your sump pump doesn't work, and then your basement floods, and that's bad. Nobody wants that. So what you can do is you get a second sump pump, and it basically runs on a battery, basically like a giant car battery. Okay. When we moved into this house 12 years ago, there was no battery backup, which blows my mind because where we live, I think our basement was actually on a list of sites to be deemed a protected wetland. It just, yeah. Our neighbors, when we met our neighbors and I said something about, the previous owner said they'd never had water in the basement, they both just started laughing. That wasn't a good sign. So we had to put in a battery backup and all that stuff. And the battery doesn't stay good forever. Even if you don't use it, it eventually will die. And so we periodically, why did I think that was going to work? We periodically have to get a new battery. And every few years, you're supposed to do it every year. We don't do that. Every time we buy a new battery, it's so much more expensive than last time, and we're always shocked. Like, what? Inflation? Oh, good Lord, this is terrible. We act like old people who are like, I remember when a candy bar was a nickel. And it's yeah. So the other thing is when you replace the battery, you really should get rid of the old batteries, which I've been meaning to do. So I went in today and I got a new battery and took it down to the basement and got it all hooked up and thought, you know what, I'm trying to lose weight. Today's the day. Let's treat this like exercise. And I carried these two batteries up our basement stairs, across the basement, up the basement stairs, and then out to the garage. And I'm telling you, those sons of guns are heavy. I don't know. I mean, together, I have no idea. I have no. All I know is my legs are shaking, and I'm kind of whoops. I'm kind of half struggling to catch my breath still a little bit. Talking a mile a minute isn't helping, but my adrenaline definitely is pumping, and so that makes me talk fast. But my legs are shaky, and I feel like Eminem about to rap. So, how are we doing? What hole am I on? I haven't even been paying attention. We've done 30. This is our 30th hole, so I've got 20 more to do. Get everything! So, yeah. Now, in the 12 years that we have lived in this house, this is crazy. The power has notably, like that we've noticed and remarked upon, the power has gone out maybe 3 times and never for more than maybe 2 minutes. Yeah, we've never actually needed the battery backup on the sump pump. It's crazy to think that in 12 years we haven't felt the need for, I mean, obviously you want it just to be safe, right? For that security, because you don't want your basement to flood, even if it's just full of stuff that you keep meaning to get rid of anyway, and then you have all your Christmas decorations, which we love almost as much as we love our kids. So we don't want the basement to flood. So we have that battery backup, just in case. Remember when we were talking about game shows? I thought that conversation would go on longer, but I realized that it wasn't very interesting, so I thought, let's jazz it up with talk of the battery backup on the sump pit. Yeah. Now, what's funny is I always thought, like when I was a kid, that a sump pit was like 6 to 8 feet deep. I don't know why. I had no reason to think that. But it's not. It's like, I don't know, 2.5, 3 feet deep. It's, yeah. Like you look in it and you think, are there things living in there? No. Absolutely not. Nothing is living in there. Nothing. You got to be careful, though, when you take your clothes out of the dryer, that you don't drop a sock, and then kick it into the sump pit, because then that sock is gone. I mean, unless you want to reach into the sump pit. But I'm not convinced that things aren't living down there. Like gross little magical wet creatures with smacky lips. Gross. So that sock is just going to be gone forever. How am I doing? 36. Okay. What else should we talk about, you guys? I really want to do more 5 for 5s, and I'm waiting for a 5 for 5 list from 2 people. But they're both very busy. One just... Oh, flip! Oh, flip! Oh, hello. No, you didn't... That was... failure, followed by redemption, followed by failure. I think that is technically considered karma. I don't know why. I don't know what I did wrong today, but I hurt someone's feelings, I'm sure. So anyway, so of the 2 people I'm waiting on, one just wrapped up they were doing a play, several weeks or several nights. I don't know what it is, but they were doing a play, so they were pretty busy. And the other is writing rock and roll music, so they also have a pass. So I'm not gonna pressure anyone. But I'm also waiting for my son. I just remembered this. He was going to make me a 10 for 10. Nope. 5 up, 5 down. What is it? Yeah, 5 up, 5 down list. But he hasn't done that. He doesn't do much. We ask him to take out the trash, and he's like, I will. And then he doesn't. So then we get mad at him. And it's kind of on us. We've had him for 19 years, almost 20 years. You'd think we would have done a better job. But, it's kind of like when you get like a paint by number kit and you're like, I just want to try it out once. The first one doesn't count. Yeah, he's the first one. We love him. It's not our best work. And it's okay. No one in my family watches these videos, so I can say whatever I want. Boo! Yeah, that's gone forever. So, yeah, I'm a bad dad. I'm actually, no, I'm not going to talk about what kind of dad I am, because that would be presumptuous. Oh, get in the thing. How about we just finish up the last few holes in relative silence? Does that sound like a plan? I think it's a pretty good plan. I think silence is underrated. Especially when you consider the alternative. Which is me talking. But I do like to talk. And honestly, when it comes to talking, I'm a quantity over quality kind of guy. I might not do it well, but doggone it, I can do a lot of it. See, that's what I meant to do the first time. This one should be an interesting hole-in-one. Bounce. Oh, or a... Not a 1. Oh, good. Let's just be together in this one, in this moment. Let's try to hold each other up in these turbulent times. Because let's be real for just 1 second. I know I've been doing this funny thing where I'm like, I pretend I'm not going to talk and then I keep talking. But yeah, times aren't great. There's a lot of crap going on in the world that we really affects us. As much as we would like it to not, it does. It affects us emotionally. It affects us ecologically and economically and politically. Like, there's a lot of stuff going on that isn't great. And it's hard to look at. You know, it's hard to watch the people in charge continue to make decisions that hurt so many people. And that contributes a lot, I think, to, a lot of mental health issues. But that being said, whatever you think of the world, I hope you think well of yourself. Because people are pretty awesome. We have the capacity to be pretty amazing. I think we just need to be told sometimes that we're awesome. And you are awesome. And I think, I hope someone has told you that today. If they haven't, you really are. You're amazing. You have a great capacity, a great potential for love and kindness and value. So whatever you got going on in your life, I hope you know that you're important and you're amazing and that you're loved. Not by me, but by somebody. I'm kidding. I love you guys. You're all amazing and awesome and wonderful. And we're going to wrap this up on a hole-in-one. How fortuitous and grand is that? Oh, flip. We're going to wrap this up in a hole-in-2. You know what? I'm not afraid to fix my mistakes or acknowledge them or make more of them. Thank you so much for watching. You guys are amazing. I hope this was a short video. Goodbye.